whack the phone.
She watches me every single time. I don't know why she watches me. She's really nervous about her telephone.
She's leaving. It won't really matter now.
Yeah.
We don't need good reviews
Good
anymore.
point. Just hammer it once. Call the meeting to order. For those who care to, please rise for an opening prayer. Salute to our flag. You will pray with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the time we can spend together. Thank you for blessing this community. Allow us to make the decisions that you want us to make. Lead, guide, and direct us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a few city council meeting announcements. Employee event committee will be hosting the annual chili cook-off on Monday, October 27th. This year will be also a contest for the best pumpkin dessert and best carved decorated pumpkin. The committee is inviting city council members to be judges. If you would like to be a judge, please let Brenda know. You can judge the pumpkin design contest, or you can eat pumpkin. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you, so get in contact with Brenda. Budget meetings are scheduled for November 3rd and 4th at Fire Station Number 1, 701 U.S. Highway 60 at
6 p.m.
6 p.m. And People Helping People benefit lunch November 6th at 11 a.m. at 1:30 p.m. or 11 a.m. to 1:30 at Hood United Methodist Church. Soup, sandwich, drink, and a dessert. And that's a People Helping People benefit lunch November 6th. The Christmas parade will be on November 22nd as well. So I just want to let everybody know that. And one more announcement as well. Katie's leaving us, going to Tulsa. We're going to miss you, Katie, but Sarah Hilton's here, her replacement. So, Sarah, welcome. And Katie, we're going to miss you. And we're going to miss playing with your phone up here. Usually when you're not looking, Ron plays with it. So just to give you that heads up. Welcome, Sarah.
I think he put his number in there.
And let's see, last but not least, Mr. Larry Melton has sent me a letter Friday. He is going to resign from council due to some health reasons for himself and his family. I asked him to stay on if he would, and he said that he would like to remain involved in the city, but not necessarily city council at this point. A little bit of time, so health reasons and some other things. So Mr. Melton, we're going to find a replacement. May have that in front of you next meeting. See what we can do, but wish Mr. Melton the best, and if we can find him an opening maybe on one of our other committees that may not take as much time, we're certainly going to try to do that. So Mr. Melton served very well here, and we certainly appreciate his participation and his volunteering for this job. So I wish Mr. Melton the best. At this time, Travis, you can step forward all the way. Is the camera got batteries in it?
Ready to go.
Okay, just check, because it was the Chief's. And we know how the Chief is with batteries.
This is my camera.
Okay, good, just check.
You have one. I have one more.
Council, ladies and gentlemen, this is Travis Liska. He started his career with the Republic Fire Department and on March 28, 2007. He has attended numerous classes during his career and was promoted to engineer on October 31st, 2011. During his time as engineer, he worked as a shift leader in the absence of captain while continuing to improve his education and for the position of captain. On September 28, 2014, Travis was promoted to the position of captain, and his daughter Madison is here. She's age 10, and she will be pinning Captain Liska's badge. And Madison, I just want to point out, hon, that this is very sharp. So if your dad has anything that you want to get back to him on, it is only my suggestion, honey, that we do it right now.
He's nervous.
Travis? Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Chief? Madison, you really, really.
Ready, can you put that in the paper? Yeah. Because we have a policy in the fire department, you get a paper, you gotta buy ice cream.
Do a whole photo spread.
Looks like you've had some ice cream, Lynn. Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay, just checking. We'll make sure everybody's good back there.
I say before we leave, get a picture of Chief.
I agree 100%.
Does it count like that? Did you get a picture of Chief? Just put him, Photoshop him in right next to Travis, and then he has to buy as well, so. Thank you. Congratulations, Travis. We certainly appreciate it. On the next item on the agenda, nothing on the public hearing. We'd like to open it up now to citizen participation. Anyone wishing to speak to anything not on the agenda, please step forward, state your name, sign in, and give us your best 3 minutes. Seeing none, citizen participation closed. I'd like to have a motion on a consent agenda.
Motion?
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. On the financial report, have Mr. Krischke give the financial report.
You'll have, in this particular report, the first one of the month for council, you'll have on the very front page, and then the back side of that, you'll show the unrestricted cash balances by fund. You'll notice that we're increasing in virtually every account, with the exception of Parks and Recreation, and the only reason we show the decline on that is because of the work that was done over at the AMP. So those cash reserves went towards their capital improvements for the year. The expense and revenue report is next. If there's any expense in there, I know there's quite a few pages in there, and you may not have a chance to look through all of those, but if there's any one expense in there that you have a question about, please let me know, and I'll get you some more specific answers on that. And then at the very back, on the very back page, you'll see just the outstanding debt that the city has. This is always a good barometer to see where we are debt-wise. It does not have maturity dates on here, and I think that's something we would want to add, because I think that's just important to know. We were talking earlier today, some of the debt that's outstanding for the Parks Department will end in 21 and 22. And some of the debt that's out there for some of the other facilities will end around, like the police department, I think is 2020. So it kind of gives you a good idea of where we stand debt-wise, what's outstanding, how much has been paid off for the year, and that's on the back side. So if there's any questions, yes?
Springfield made an announcement, I think it was like last Thursday or Friday, that there was a huge increase in the sales tax revenue on the check for October that I guess probably comes in from August. Did we see that, or?
Can't share that information. It's top secret till the next meeting. Yes, we did.
Did we see that bump too?
Yeah,
Good.
we did. Yeah, I don't remember the precise.
Not that it can't go the other way.
No. I mean, and that's usually the second meeting of the month. But yes, we did get it in, and I want to say it was 36% higher.
I think Springfield said 25. Like, holy cow, year over year.
Substantial.
But it was low the previous year during that time period. But well, it is a little bit of a good sign.
Yeah, I want to say 36% is what the increase was.
I didn't mean to spoil your fun for next
No.
meeting.
No. It's just one of those things you look, when those kind of things happen, you look forward to it. But,
Thank you.
It's like,
There's the signing.
Yeah.
Hello, Ryan.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Questions, comments, discussion on financial report? Anything at all? Need a motion to approve financial report?
Motion?
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Anything, Mr. Christian?
No, sir.
Mr. Derrickson?
No, sir.
All right. On to future community events.
I'm queen of parks tonight.
Knock
King
yourself
took the night
out.
off. So you're second to me.
I'm looking for Jared. You stand up. Okay,
I
can
stand
do
up,
it,
right?
Dave.
All right, our future community events, October 13th through November 14th, Arthritis Foundation Exercise Program classes, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1:30 p.m. It's a free event at Republic Community Center. October 16th through November 20th, toddler tumbling, Thursdays, 5:30 or 6:30 p.m., pre-registration required, Republic Activities Building. October 17th through November 7th, Todd Academy, Fridays, 10:30 a.m., pre-registration required at the Community Center. October 18th, second annual Canine Costume Contest, time to be determined. That will be at the Republic Amp. October 20th and 27th, Toddler Open Gym, Mondays at 10 a.m., no registration required. That's at the Republic Activities Building. October 24th, the sixth annual Boogie Bash, 5:30 p.m., no registration required. Costume contest will be held at 6:30 p.m. That's at the Republic Amp. October 30th, Senior Movie Day, 3 p.m. The movie will be Amazing Spider-Man. It's a free event at the Republic Community. I know, Dan, you want to go, don't you?
I'll be there.
You're there.
Dressed up.
Yeah.
Again.
October 31st, 18th Annual Treat Yourself in Republic, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's a free event. Maps of participating locations will be available October 27th. November 6th will be the People Helping People benefit lunch, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at Hood Methodist Church.
Thank you. On the Board Commissioners Committee schedule, Board of Adjustments, November 6th. Capital Improvements, October 22nd. City Council, October 27th. City Council Budget Meeting, November 3rd. Also, City Council Budget Meeting, November 4th. And City Council Meeting, November 19th. Planning and Zoning has the October 20th meeting. On to old business and tabled items, I'd like to have a motion for the second reading of Bill Number 14-28.
Motion?
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? The motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, authorizing and directing the Chief of Police to enter into a memorandum of understanding with regard to mutual aid with the National Park Service for police services.
I'd like to have a motion to have final approval, Bill Number 14-28.
Motion. Second.
Motion second. Welcome, Chief Logan. What's the overview, sir?
Well, basically, since we are pretty much contiguous with the Wilson Street National Battlefield, and we've been dealing with assisting them going back numerous years, and since the latest big event was, of course, the reenactment from their anniversary. So this time when they were redoing their other mutual aid agreements with both the Greene County Sheriff's Department and the Christian County Sheriff's Department, they thought that they would include us into this since we're so in such close proximity, so they've asked us to participate.
Questions, comments, discussion for Chief Lowe? Anything at all? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilmember Harrelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Poole? Aye. Councilmember Harden?
Aye.
Councilmember Brashear?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilson?
Aye.
Councilmember Klinkenberg?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. I'd like to have a motion to have the second reading of Bill Number 14-29.
Motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, approving a special use permit for a group daycare home owned and operated by Carmen Ice, located at 418 North George Avenue in Republic, Missouri.
Need a motion to have final passage of Bill Number 14-29.
Motion.
Motion and a second. Welcome, Mr. Tyson. Give us the overview, sir.
This bill, if approved, will give Ms. Ice the authorization to operate what we call a group daycare home, which will allow her to care for up to 10 children from this place of residence at any given time. She currently operates what we call a family daycare home, which allows for her to care for up to 6 children, but the special use permit is required to go from that number up to 10. The property that we're talking about is zoned for single-family residential development. It's zoned R1M. It's primarily surrounded by other single and two-family residential dwellings. The Planning and Zoning Commission heard this issue and voted 7-0 to recommend approval of this bill.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments, discussion for Mr. Tyson? Anything at all? Mr. Derrickson?
Yes, if you'll notice on page 2 of the ordinance, section 2, paragraph A, subsection, or subparagraph 4, at such time as established by council. Just point that out to see if you want to establish any review date.
If we do that, I know I asked last time about doing that for all of them, setting some sort of a time period. Is it a problem if we pick and choose when we do that?
I'd be consistent with you once you started.
I think they need to be regularly reviewed, like all our other permits, so they're not going on forever. But, I don't know if we should start it in this manner. Is that something that you guys can bring back to council for future ones, some options to change that for all daycares coming forward? Unless somebody else wants to do it, then I don't necessarily want to start it just off the cuff.
That probably would be something put into the ordinance under the special use permit as one of the conditions.
It's easier doing it that way, Mr. Klingenberg, than doing it piecemeal.
That's, and
One-on-one, you might as well build it in the ordinance itself under the particular section where it covers this particular application.
Exactly. I strongly believe that they shouldn't just go on in perpetuity, and that we should review them occasionally, but I don't want to just randomly piecemeal it here and there on an individual bill like tonight. If you guys can bring that back as an option so we can review it on the ordinance, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah, if we have something come up before that's changed, I'd recommend just not even having that section 4 on a future bill until we get it approved by ordinance.
So, Mr. Klingenberg, you're asking for direction for staff to come back with a recommendation on a special use permit with that particular time frame listed for debate?
Either like a year or 3 years, just to bring us back some options, let the council decide on the time period, but bring back the wording so that that can be looked at.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Derrickson will prepare that, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Additional questions, comments, discussion? Anything at all?
Someone's voting back there.
Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilmember Klinkenberg,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilson,
Aye.
Councilmember Brashear,
Aye.
Councilmember Harder,
Aye.
Councilmember Poole, Councilmember Harrelson,
Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. On to the next item, I'd like to have a motion to have the second reading of bill number 14-30.
Motion. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, amending Schedule I, Table IA, General Speed Zones of the Republic Traffic Code.
I'd like to have a motion of final passage to bill number 14-30.
Motion. Second.
Welcome, Mr. Brock. Give us the overview.
Thank you, Mayor. This bill will establish city speed limits for the streets annexed in conjunction with the Lake Shula Ridge. Under this proposal, the existing 30 mile an hour on Southland Avenue would be extended down to Williamsburg Walk. The portion of Farm Road 89 that was annexed in will be 30 miles an hour. Williamsburg Walk will be set at 35 miles an hour. And then the internal roads in Lake Shula Ridge, as all of our residential roads are posted, will be 30 miles an hour. I do want to give a brief update on our improvement project with Greene County. They are actively seeking a right-of-way out there, and at this point, we're still hoping to begin that road improvement project this year.
Questions, comments, discussion for Mr. Brock. Brock, how long if the project gets started this year? Timeframe?
Things can stretch out on winter projects, but they're thinking March. The caveat here is you really don't want to put a start date on it till you get your right-of-way. I understand they've got one individual who's not favorable to our project. So until they clear that hurdle, I'll pass along the reports they provide, but I wouldn't give much stock that they'll get started until they get that clear.
So we're really talking about a 6-month project, even if it started today, or a 5-month project?
It depends on the weather. We've had years where they could finish this project in 60 days, and we've had years where they would stop and they wouldn't start up again till April.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Additional questions, comments, discussion from Mr. Brock? Anything at all? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilmember Harrelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Full?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder?
Aye.
Councilmember Brashear?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilson?
Aye.
Councilmember Clayton-Beard?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. On the next item, I'd like to have a motion to have the first reading of Bill number 14-31.
Motion.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental cooperative agreement with Greene County for road striping services.
Mr. Brock, give us the overview, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a number of roadways that extend out into the county, and it's been a pretty common practice in the past when the county is doing road striping, and we requested they would bring that on into the city limits. That situation came up this summer with Farm Road 148 and Farm Road 156. And what's changed a bit is the county has experienced a little litigation concerning road striping and signage, and when we come across these circumstances, they would like to have a written agreement that provides them primarily with indemnification for doing that striping. So we drew up a short agreement that lays out the terms under which the county would undertake this. Essentially, we reimburse them for all of their expenses, time, materials, labor, and we provide indemnification for that work. I do want to point out that we have asked that this agreement is drawn up was specific to those two roadways, Farm Road 148 and 156. We've asked to include a provision that would allow similar type work in the future. It's shown as paragraph 7, highlighted in your copy, I hope. It's not for certain that that will be agreeable to the county. We're looking at some additional language that might maybe require a resolution from City Council. We're just looking for something that could be a little bit more reactive or current than with an ordinance, approval by ordinance, which takes almost 60 days. So we'll make sure Council's aware that you'll likely see changes in that paragraph about future striping, and it's very possible that may have to be stricken entirely.
Okay. Fair enough. Questions, comments, discussion for Mr. Brock? Mr. Clayton-Beard.
So, what does this exactly mean? If they're striping the road, someone drives through it, gets paint all over their car or something like that, and they sue, it would go into our insurance instead of theirs? Is that what we're looking at?
If it's on that city street. Another example might be if we ask for a center line stripe and someone thinks that designates a passing zone and there's some sort of automobile accident. I mean, essentially, we're going to be responsible for the striping that we ask them to put down for us.
What if it's an actual thing where there's negligence on their part? Their truck blows up, starts squirting paint all over cars, or something that, is it kind of a blanket indemnification?
The very last sentence of that indemnification paragraph says, "This provision does not, however, require the city to indemnify, hold harmless, or defend the county from the county's own negligence."
So if it's a negligence-based issue, then it can still go back to their insurance.
Yes, that has been blatantly negligent, yeah.
Is this, I assume, something they're going to all cities for, and is there something that prompted it?
It is, they are facing litigation over a, accident that occurred on, Farm Road 97, just north of Highway 60. That's at the, Oakwood and Highway 60 intersection. And, the individual that was injured wasn't the driver of the vehicle that had an accident, but one of the injured parties that got hit is claiming there was some sort of deficiency in their striping or signage north of the railroad tracks.
And if we go forward on this, that would then fall on us.
It's the situation we have every day, and that is the striping, the signage you have out there, it means something. We follow the manual for uniform traffic control devices. It's a federal publication. So does Greene County. You'll see that referenced in the agreement, and that's kind of your defense. Is if you put something out there on the road, it should comply with that guidance document.
But if it's their engineering and their guidance and they chose where to put the line, why would we want to take responsibility for those decisions?
We will direct them on what to put out there, and honestly, in most cases, we're talking about edge of pavement striping. I mentioned before a center line stripe, an alternating dash stripe. Those we've already determined we're going to eliminate those out on these farm roads because they can be interpreted to be a passing zone. So you'll see the striping that's done out in this situation is a double line stripe. Costs 4 times as much. However, it avoids complications that that might arise.
There's no misinterpreting it.
Correct. And part of the work under this agreement is striping and signage, or not signage, but striping and road marking near a railway crossing. Again, that comes straight out of our manual. It's very defined. There's not a lot of leeway in what you should do. And so it's a matter of us knowing what we should do, the county agreeing with that, and that's what they put down.
Have we checked with our insurance company and see what their thoughts are? They willing to take that on, or is that?
Mr. Pegler, we're already doing that.
It's city street, we're already
We're already
on
doing
the hook.
that. We just want a formal agreement stating X.
The other option is that we either buy the equipment to do the
Do it
striping
ourselves.
or put out bids and have someone bid on it and award a bid to them with the requirement that they max out on insurance.
Exactly.
Well, let's say right now on the city streets where we do bid it out and someone else does it other than MoDOT, are we handling the fault on those, or are we requiring those companies to carry the insurance?
If we get a third-party contractor, they're going to have insurance required. It depends on, again, if they are negligent in what they do, then their insurance should pick that up. But as far as us avoiding being sued or liable, that there's no way you're going to avoid that if it's on a city street.
And by using the standards that Mr. Brock mentioned, we're following every standard that we can. This agreement, as we button up a lot of our agreements over the years, this is one of those that buttons it up, allows us to be more forthright in what we do and how we do it, along with Greene County. Either way, kind of helps us keep it all on the same page.
And if they're negligent, that is an exception from the indemnity language. The indemnity only applies if they get sued, and if we both get sued, because the city's going to get sued because it's on our city street. There's no question we'll be in the lawsuit. The question is, do they indemnify us or do we indemnify them? If they're negligent, then we don't have to indemnify them. If we did something negligent, or if it's just a toss-up, then we're going to get defended by our insurance company.
Either way.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Clifford?
Oh.
That's a good question. Additional questions, comments, discussion? Fair enough. And that's the first reading. Council members, if you do have questions or think of something between now and the next meeting, please contact Mr. Brock or Mr. Derrickson for any legal questions regarding the matter. At this particular time, that ends the open session. We'd like to go into executive session under RSMO 610.021.3. Like to have a motion?
Motion.
A motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Clinkenbeard,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilson,
Aye.
Councilmember Bashir,
Aye.
Councilmember Harder,
Aye.
Councilmember Full. Aye. Councilmember Harrelson. Aye.
That motion carries 6-0. We'll take about a 5-minute recess and we'll come back. That ends the open session portion where there's no other business other than that.